But I think the banks had a lot to do with the collapse of the industry as we know it. Now, they may hate hearing this, but they're the ones that changed the terms of the agreements with the installers that forced them to go into financial troubles because they can't pull the money that they have sitting out of the account to finish the projects that they have going on because the banks changed the terms. I mean, if they're doing that, then how in the world? And it's to make themselves more profitable. The data's out there. What I thought the industry was going through to get to the point where we see this transition on the economic scale that solar is going through right now. And I have to say, I think it's on the banks on this one. I've always mentioned that sales reps should be knowledgeable when they're going out there, but I think the banks had a lot to do with the collapse of the industry as we know it. Now, they may hate hearing this, but they're the ones that changed the terms of the agreements with the installers that forced them to go into financial troubles because they can't pull the money that they have sitting out of the account to finish the projects that they have going on because the banks changed the terms. I mean, if they're doing that, then how in the world? And it's to make themselves more profitable. The data's out there. But how in the world are they going to change the terms on the installers who they already know have thin margins and expect them to do great? So my answer to you on the latter question is, wouldn't it be amazing if we lived in a world where the banks were able to train on the products that they find value in if they're going to be funding it? Wouldn't it be amazing if they could train these installers exactly how to do batteries so that their funded projects can go through better and they don't have to raise the rates on everyone or change the terms on the installers because they're creating healthy business that way? And I would say if we were to make a change, and I'm not saying it's necessarily the bank's responsibility, but I would say if we are going to make a change, some of the strongest people are in an industry that say that they advocate us and advocate the businesses. Wouldn't it be amazing if they aligned with us and helped us reach that goal?
Interesting perspective. It does make a lot of sense, though, too, because the banks are in a unique position to see sort of underneath the hood performance data on a lot of the contractors. They can really vet the contractors in a way that most sales reps or end user customers can't really do that. So I'm curious. I mean, do you see potentially, Jake? Do you see a future where a bank may get involved with the actual installation business in more than let's say a coaching capacity, but more of having an ownership interest in the installation activity?
I think it's already happened. I wouldn't say they've necessarily partnered up with the installers. I think they just flipped the script on the industry. For those that aren't aware, they when this economic trouble did hit these companies, these installation companies, everyone thought that the banks, and maybe it's true. I'm not in these banks. I don't work there, but everyone thought, hey, they're trying to, they're trying to help the industry. They're trying to create a scenario where sales reps feel safe again. And what's really happening is they're gaining control in this industry. If they've created those problems and complications with the installation side of the business, and sales reps haven't been paid, projects aren't being completed, there's not enough weight on the value of the completed projects, then these install companies have actually jumped now in front of the installers and have decided that they're going to start backing the sales organizations directly, putting the installers behind them. Before, it was always sales goes and finds an installer, and then the installer has the bank, and then the bank pays the installer, and the installer pays the reps or the sales side, right? That is now flipped. Now the banks have jumped in front of the installers and say, hey, sales organizations, sales leaders, we're going to fund you directly. Come to us. We're going to pick who the installers are. And in my mind, they're just picking what the terms are. They're picking how they're going to play ball. They're dictating which installers are going to get it based on the metrics that they want them to. And if they don't abide, then they'll say, thank you very much, next. and why would a sales representative go and partner with an installer at that point? We've already felt the pain. We've already felt the hurt. And we don't necessarily want to go and partner with an installer because the safe bet is now the bank, right? So I think something similar to what you described has happened. These banks are now positioning themselves to be in front of the installation partners.
Yeah. And do you see that could, do you think that will be successful long term, that model? Do you think sales orgs will have loyalty, long-term loyalty to the banks?
It's hard to say. I understand it. I mean, if you go on any of our social media platforms where these groups of salespeople have unified and banded together, you'll see them openly talking about the frustrations that they have with installers, even publicly almost discriminating, or not discriminating, but publicly bashing them and saying that I didn't get paid, and the owners of these install companies are saying we we have been operating the same way. Like, we could not have foreseen these terms being changed on us. And we're sorry. Like, it sucks for us too. These installers are losing more in their lives than the sales reps even understand. They're going in and bashing them. And I would think with that kind of pain generated, why would a lesser educated sales rep ever trust another installer again? And maybe an educated one would trust them, but financially might not want to gamble on the ability of them running the business if they know that the banks actually ultimately control the installers at this point.
That's interesting. Well, this is part of why we do podcast interviews with folks like yourself. I mean, a lot of these teams I'm now learning for the first time. I was not aware that that was a trend in the industry for the bankers to bypass the EPC and just go direct to the sales org to form those partnerships. But I
Started
suppose if they feel they have better leverage that way, go ahead.
I apologize. It started last year. GoodLeap rolled out a new product, and they said that we're going to split. If you have for example, if you have rolled a roof into a solar loan project, we will pay the roofer independent of paying the installer. They rolled that out last year. This year, they decided that they were going to like GoodLeap was going to back an organization called Sunder, which is a massive money generating platform out there. They do take care of their sales reps. They love their people, but they are huge. And they are just a sales org. They did not have the installation component. And GoodLeap said, okay, we're going to step in front. We will back you. We will pay you directly. And I think they tested that model a year ago, and they rolled out the newer stuff now. So GoodLeap has publicly backed Sunder. And I have talked with other banks that are coming to SolarCon that have big announcements and big things that they want to roll out. And at SolarCon, the sponsors that we have more banks now, and more banks CEOs willing to talk on panels from these banks on a panel, coming out to discuss their new stuff and the innovations that they're making. And my guess is GoodLeap has always been the forerunner. Like, they've always made the big jumps before everyone else. And my guess is they're following suit. I've heard whispers of organizations already doing it, and I've heard other ways that they're bringing that to market instead of just saying, hey, sales reps, come to us. They're doing it through softwares that we all know, use, and love as a universal language in our industry. Like Solo, for example, partnered up with, I want to say it's Sunlight Financial. No, it's a TPO product, but partnered up with them and said, okay, anyone using our platform, hey, we have a PPA offering. You want to check them out, right? And Solo is the most universal language in the entire country for designing if you're a sales rep. So, and I don't know the truth of this, and I don't even know what I'm technically allowed to say on here. So if you're listening, my attorney's phone number is, no, I'm just kidding. It's it's interesting to me because if these TPO products like leases and PPAs have their own proprietary design software in their organizations, which they have to have in order to comply with the rate production guarantee that they put in their contracts, they want to be in control of that kilowatt hour production rate. They want to be in control of that because they don't want to pay out that contract every single year, right? So if the design software can be taken out of their portal, they no longer have to function. They don't want to be a tech company also, right? If Solo is a universal language, if I wanted to go sell SunPower and Sunrun and Everbright and Sonova and all these other TPO products, I have to learn each of their proprietary design softwares. Or wouldn't it be nice if there was one universal software out there that I already knew and have used that now is able to handle TPO products, that complies within the regulations that they need to abide by their contracts for the rate production guarantees? And that's the route I would go, and I believe that's the route the banks are going with their design. They're like, thank you, we will get rid of our design software and we will use you instead, making it that much easier for sales reps to go directly to the banks again.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. I hope you're getting some great value from today's video content. Now, if you would like to have your business or product or technology featured on the Solar Surge channel, we can help you do that. Feel free to use the link below to set up a call with our media team so that we can discuss your marketing goals and how Solar Surge can help you get there. Solar Surge is the leading online community in the U.S. residential solar and energy storage space. And so if you would like to have your business or product or technology introduced to our audience, we can help you do that. Again, feel free to reach out to us on the link below to set up a call with our media team or email media@solarsurge.net.